An ordinary man with an extraordinary talent, a mixed-race black and Cherokee Indian who overcame a tough childhood to become one of our most enduring icons. Born at a time when mankind was in a state of self-destruct, Jimi Hendrix would later unleash himself onto an unexpected world, and his music would prove to be timeless. At the age of 15, he was traumatised by the sudden death of his mother. Not soon after, he got his first guitar. It was the blues he loved, and Muddy Waters and B.B. King were his heroes. When Jimi Hendrix recorded here at Olympic Studios in 1967 and then went on to become a superstar, well, it was as if he fell out of the sky. But in fact, he made his first TV appearance in 1965 on Night Train as part of the band The Royal Company. Later, Hendrix was spotted by Animal's bassist Chas Chandler, who convinced him to move to London. There a group was built around him. Dubbed the Jimi Hendrix Experience, the trio became stars with astonishing speed.
Chaz brought him, plonked him right in the middle of it all, poof, and it all went off. Hey Joe. Hey Joe was the moment, it was like the buzz.
Before you go with that gun in your hand.
Purple Haze followed. Like a drug, it tripped onto the airwaves and became an anthem for US soldiers in Vietnam. Living in London, Jimmy'd get a different perspective of America. He'd also find his foxy lady, Kathy Mary Etchingham. An argument he was to have with her would inspire one of his greatest ballads. Are You Experienced arrived in 1967 and is regarded as one of the most influential debut albums ever. It pointed the way toward a new brand of rock-charged soul music.
He expanded what the guitar could do and used amplification in a way that had never been used before.
Although success in the UK had been secured, Hendrix was little known elsewhere. That was all about to change. In the States at the Monterey Festival, in an attempt to upstage The Who, Hendrix was to set not only his guitar, but the whole world on fire.
Let me stand next to your fire.
And that gave him that impact in America, which he'd never had before. He made that pure sex, that song.
Jimmy said, I just don't want to be known as a gimmicky guitar player. I want to paint a picture and actually let the music take people on a journey.
When Axis Boulder's Love was released later that year, it was all to change. This album represented the future, exploring psychedelic sounds and for the first time, stereo phasing effects. It was a record born in the studio. Heavily influenced by Dylan at the time, he would prove himself to be also a poet with little wing.
Just great psychedelic visions of a kind of dreamscape, of a world full of possibilities.
Butterflies and zebras and moonbeams.
He enjoyed juggling styles from blues to rock, and then experimenting with fusion to create pop-savvy hooks with sentiment. And these would finally come together in New York with Electric Ladyland. The cover of the album would also cause uproar, with many shops refusing to stock it.
That wouldn't be allowed today. It's a much more PC world.
Hendrix's version of Dylan's All Along the Watchtower was the album's highlight. More reinterpretation than a cover, it would become his best-selling single.
There must be some kind of way out of here. Said a joker to the thief.
The future, however, looked uncertain. Sadly, the group announced it was breaking up just as the album got to #1. In '69, he formed a new group, a band of gypsies. They would be the last act to play at Woodstock, where Jimmy performed his now famous interpretation of the Star Spangled Banner.
That was such an extraordinary political statement. It seems tame now, but at the time that would have been very, very controversial.
Hendrix died on the 18th of September 1970. It ended here in London at the Samarkand Hotel under a cloud of conspiracy. He's said to have died of drug complications. But the fact that Jimi Hendrix died so young is not what he'd want to be remembered for. His music is his legacy.
Angel came down from heaven yesterday. She stayed with me just long enough to rescue